Once upon a time, in the land of Gigantosaurus, there was a little dinosaur named Danny. Danny was a curious little triceratops with bright blue scales and two tiny horns that stuck out of the top of his head. Every night, as the stars winked in the sky, Danny would wish to go on wonderful adventures. One special night, as Danny lay snuggled under a big, soft leaf, he closed his eyes and made a wish. In the twinkle of an eye, he found himself at the foot of Volcanicula Mountain, a place he had only heard about in stories. Danny's eyes widened with excitement.
Wow.
"I'm really here," he exclaimed, doing a little dinosaur dance. His little heart fluttered with joy as he set off on his nighttime adventure. Along the trail, Danny met his first friend, Timmy, the pterodactyl. Timmy had soaring wings and always wore a charming smile. "Do you want to fly with me above the roaring river, Danny?" asked Timmy, flapping his wings excitedly. Danny giggled and nodded. Timmy picked him up gently, and together they soared into the sky, over the sparkling river below. From up high, Danny could see the lush, green forests and the beautiful valley of Dino Dwell. After a fun flight, Danny landed on soft sandy shores where he met Betty, the brontosaurus basking in the moonlight. Betty was incredibly tall, with a neck that reached up high to the treetops. "Would you like to pick the juiciest fruits with me, Danny?" asked Betty in her gentle voice. "Oh yes," chirped Danny. Betty bent her long neck to the treetops, plucking the most delicious dino berries. They laughed and munched until their tummies were full. Continuing his adventure, Danny came across Rocky, the clever stegosaurus, who was busy building a pebble path. "Danny, help me create this path to the moonlit meadow," Rocky urged. Lucky for Danny, he loved building things. Together, they arranged colorful pebbles into a path leading to the shimmering meadow. As they reached the meadow, Danny's eyes glistened as fireflies danced around him, lighting up the night like a million little stars. Laughing with joy, Danny lay on the soft plush grass. Feeling the gentle wind caress his face, "I love adventures," Danny whispered to the sparkling stars above. Just then, a sleepy yawn escaped him, and he blinked his eyes tiredly. Timmy wrapped his wings around Danny, and Betty rested her long neck beside him for a snuggly cuddle, while Rocky lay close with his warm, cozy back. In no time, Danny drifted into the soft arms of sleep, dreaming of the exciting adventures he would have next. In the morning, the sun peeked over the horizon, waking Danny with gentle sunbeams. Tickling his face, he found himself back in his cozy dino bed, safe and sound. What a magical adventure! He giggled to himself, hugging his favorite leafy blanket, knowing that as long as he had dreams, there would always be another thrilling adventure waiting. And from that day on, little Danny the Triceratops dreamed of faraway places and marvelous adventures, all just a wish or a dream away. And so the stars twinkled, the dinos dozed, and Gigantosaurus was quiet once more under the dreamy night sky. The end. Once upon a time, in the lush and vibrant savanna, there lived a hippopotamus named Hilda. Hilda was a happy-go-lucky hippo who loved to bask in the sun and splash in the cool waters of the river. She was friendly, always wearing a wide smile that matched her big, round eyes. One sunny morning, as Hilda waddled to her favorite spot by the riverbank, she noticed something unusual. A colorful flutter in the distance caught her eye. Curious, she ambled over to see what it could be. As she approached, she heard a cheerful giggling sound unlike anything she had ever heard before. "Why, hello there," chirped a tiny voice. Hilda looked around and finally spotted the source, a bright little bird perched on a nearby branch. The bird had shiny green feathers speckled with hints of orange and blue and sported a perky little hat. Its name was Moo Deng. "Hello, Moo Deng," Hilda replied, delighted by the cheerful creature. "What brings you to this side of the savannah? I've never seen a bird like you before." Moo Deng flapped its wings excitedly. "I'm here on an adventure, exploring new places and meeting new friends," it explained. And today, I think I just made a new friend. Would you like to go on an adventure with me, Hilda? Hilda's eyes widened with joy. She had never been on an adventure before, and the thought of exploring with Mu Deng filled her with excitement.
Oh, yes.
I'd love to. Where shall we go? Mu Deng thought for a moment before chirping. How about the flower forest? It's just a little further along the river. I hear it's filled with the most beautiful blossoms and sweet nectar. And so, the odd pair set off together. Hilda trotted happily beside her new feathered friend. They passed the tall acacia trees, traversed the grassy plains, and finally approached the edge of the flower forest. As they entered, both Hilda and Mu Deng were greeted by a splendor of color and fragrance. The forest was alive with vibrant blooms, pink, yellow, red, and purple flowers as far as the eye could see. Oh, Mu Deng, this is wonderful, Hilda exclaimed, her heart swelling with happiness. They spent the day exploring the forest, discovering all sorts of interesting things. Mu Deng showed Hilda how to sip nectar from the flowers without disturbing the bees, and Hilda taught Mu Deng a game of hide and seek. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, Hilda and Mu Deng made their way back to the riverbank. Thank you for such a delightful day, Hilda said, feeling grateful for her new friendship. Mu Deng perched playfully on Hilda's back, giving her a grateful chirp. Thank you for joining me, Hilda. Every adventure is brighter with a friend like you. From that day on, Hilda the hippopotamus and Mu Deng the colorful bird would meet regularly, going on adventures and sharing stories. And in the heart of the savannah, their friendship blossomed just like the flowers in the forest they both loved. Once upon a time, in the land of Dinolandia, where the skies were blue and the green hills never seemed to end, dinosaurs of every shape and size roamed freely. Among these dinosaurs were three friends, Spike the Stegosaurus, Rory the Triceratops, and Tiny the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Spike, with his colorful plates and gentle eyes, was the brains of the group. He loved finding new ways to solve problems and was always thinking about how things worked. Rory, with her three magnificent horns and kind heart, was the peacemaker. She loved spending her days playing in the lush fields and keeping everyone happy. Tiny, despite his name, was quite large and had a roar that could be heard for miles. He wasn't as fierce as he looked, and his little arms were perfect for giving the best hugs. One sunny afternoon, while exploring the magic forest of Dinolandia, the trio discovered something mysterious. Hidden behind the giant ferns and flowering trees was a shimmering portal. It glowed with the light of 1,000 stars. What could that be? Wondered Spike, his curiosity getting the better of him. It looks like an adventure waiting to happen, exclaimed Tiny, with excitement bubbling in his voice. But it could be dangerous, Rory cautioned. However, the spirit of adventure was too strong, and with a little persuasion, Rory agreed to go along. As they stepped through the portal, the world around them changed. They found themselves in a land of surprises. Cotton candy clouds floated overhead. Trees were made of gumdrops, and rivers flowed with sweet lemonade. Everything sparkled brightly, almost magically. In this candy land, the dinosaurs met Puff, a tiny dragon with gummy wings and a giggling laugh. Puff explained that they had stumbled into Sugarville, a place where sweets had come alive. He warned them about the candy storm that was moving their way and that they needed a safe place to shelter. Being the team that they were, Spike quickly thought of building a candy fort, using the jelly beans as bricks and licorice ropes to tie them together. Rory gathered all the friends she could find, from marshmallow bunnies to chocolate bears, to help reinforce their fort. Tiny, of course, moved the big chocolate blocks with ease, making sure their new friends would be safe. The storm arrived with sugar winds and sprinkles of chocolate rain. But thanks to their teamwork, everyone was safe and sound inside the cozy candy fort. As the storm passed, a beautiful rainbow stretched across the sweet sky, a reward for their bravery and kindness. Grateful, Puff and the sweet creatures of Sugarville celebrated with a grand feast, sharing lollipops and cupcakes as a thank you for their help. When it was time to return to Dinolandia, the magical portal reappeared, glistening like before. "Thank you for keeping us safe," said Puff as they waved goodbye. The dinosaurs, with hearts full of joy, stepped through the portal back to their beloved home. That night, under the twinkling stars of Dinolandia, Spike, Rory, and Tiny fell asleep, dreaming of their sweet adventure. Little did they know, new adventures were always on the horizon in the magical land of Dinolandia. And so, with the warm light of moonbeams casting soft shadows, Dinolandia drifted into a peaceful slumber. The end. Once upon a time in the sunny valley of Muchas Colinas, there lived a cheerful donkey named Diego and a lively rooster named Rico. Diego was a hard-working and kind-hearted donkey who loved eating juicy carrots and basking under the sun. Rico, on the other hand, was the morning alarm of the farm, greeting each day with his bright and vibrant crow. One day, while Diego was trotting around the farm, he overheard the farmer saying to his wife, "I wish we had a singing duo to entertain our guests at the farm festival tomorrow." Diego's ears perked up with excitement as an idea brewed in his mind. He decided to rope in his best friend Rico to form a music band. Diego trotted to the barn where Rico was busy picking grains. With a wide grin on his face, Diego said, "Hey Rico, why don't we try our luck at becoming the farm's duo musicians for the festival tomorrow?" Rico paused, fluffed his colorful feathers thoughtfully, and replied, "But Diego, I've never sung with music before. All I do is crow. Are you sure we can make this work?" "Of course we can," Diego neighed confidently. "We'll practice together. You have such a powerful voice, and I can tap my hooves and bray along as a beat." Excited by the plan, Rico agreed to the idea. They practiced tirelessly through the afternoon. Diego brayed in rhythm, tapping his hooves while Rico tried different tunes, crowing with varying pitches. They faced some challenges at first. Rico often got carried away with exuberant crows, and Diego had to adjust his tempo. Despite their coaching hiccups, they made a surprisingly harmonious duo. The day of the festival arrived, and the farm was abuzz with excitement. Little children ran around with cotton candy, while adults set up stalls and decorations. The farmer announced, "It's time to welcome Diego and Rico, our singing duo." As they made their way to the stage, both felt butterflies flapping wildly in their tummies. But as Diego clapped his hooves and Rico began to crow, magic spread through the air. Rico let out a beautiful melody, and Diego supported him with rhythmic brays and hoof taps. The crowd was mesmerized by their performance, and the valley echoed with applause and cheers. After the show, the farmer patted both of them and exclaimed, "You two are the stars of Muchas Colinas. I never knew we had such talent right here on our farm. Thank you for bringing joy and melody to our festival." From that day on, Diego and Rico became the musical pride of Muchas Colinas, performing at every festival and event, inspiring other animals on the farm to pursue their hidden talents. And so, the cheerful donkey and the lively rooster harmonized happiness, proving that with teamwork and a pinch of courage, extraordinary things can happen. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled in the valley of 100 hills, there lived a curious little rabbit named Benny. Benny was the youngest in a big family of rabbits who lived comfortably beneath a giant oak tree. Unlike his cautious siblings, Benny had a sparkling sense of adventure and dreamt of exploring the world beyond the hills that surrounded his village. One sunny morning, Benny woke up with an idea, a grand plan for an unforgettable adventure. He decided to journey past the hills to see what lay beyond. With a small backpack filled with carrots and a warm scarf knitted by his mom, he hopped out of the burrow, but not before leaving a note assuring his family that he would return soon. The world outside his village was amazing. Benny was delighted by the colorful flowers he'd never seen before and played with the butterflies that fluttered around him. Every step brought something new and exciting. As Benny traveled further, He met a wise old turtle named Timmy basking in the sun by a babbling brook. "Hello, little fellow," greeted Timmy, moving unusually fast for a turtle. "Where are you heading to on such a fine day?" "Oh, hello," Benny replied excitedly. "I'm on an adventure to see beyond the hills. I've always wondered what's there." Timmy chuckled softly. "Ah, the spirit of adventure. It's a beautiful thing. But remember, little bunny, adventures can be unpredictable. You'll need a map to guide you and friends to help along the way." Benny nodded eagerly and continued hopping along the path. As the days passed, Benny went through lush green meadows and thick forests, sharing stories with singing birds and mischievous squirrels. Each new friend added something special to his journey. However, as day turned to dusk and dusk to night, Benny realized he had traveled too far. The hills that once seemed near were only faint outlines against the starry sky. Benny felt a twinge of homesickness, but remembered Timmy's words. Opportunity awaited. In a clearing, Benny found a little mouse named Millie struggling to carry a cheese as big as herself. "Oh no, this is too much for me," sighed Millie. Benny offered, "Here, let me help you, Millie. I'm strong enough to lend you a paw." Together, they rolled the cheese towards Millie's cozy tree abode. Grateful, Millie offered a trusty map to Benny, saying, "Take this map, dear friend. It will lead you safely back home when you wish to return." With the map clutched tightly in his paw, Benny felt a comforting warmth spread in his heart. Benny ventured further, meeting many more friends like the gentle deer, the busy beaver building his dam, a friendly fox who loved to dance under the moonlight. Each encounter filled Benny's heart with joy and his backpack with keepsakes. Finally, after many days, Benny knew it was time to use the map and follow the path back home. The journey had been incredible and filled with more memories than he ever anticipated. As Benny approached the village's familiar outskirts, he felt excitement mixed with the warmth of coming home. As Benny entered the oak tree burrow, his family greeted him with hugs, eager to hear tales from his journey. "What an unforgettable adventure, Benny. You must tell us everything," his siblings chimed. Settling by the fireplace, Benny began to recount the wonders he had seen, the friends he had made, and how each moment had taught him something special. It was indeed an unforgettable journey, one that sparked even more dreams in Benny's heart. Once upon a time, in the quiet village of Starwood, there lived two adventurous teenagers named Lily and Jake. Lily, with her vibrant curiosity and love for nature, had hair the color of raven feathers and eyes that sparkled like emeralds. Jake, with his boisterous energy, tousled sandy hair, and ever-present grin, was always ready for an expedition. They were as inseparable as peanut butter and jelly and spent their days dreaming of adventures beyond their village. One sunny afternoon, Lily and Jake stumbled upon an ancient map tucked inside an old book in Lily's attic. The map depicted the Whispering Woods, a forest said to be enchanted and filled with magical creatures and hidden treasures. Although everyone in Starwood spoke of the woods with a sense of awe and mystery, claiming it was too dangerous, Lily and Jake couldn't resist the lure of an adventure. Equipped with snacks, a flashlight, and their trusty compass, the duo set off one Saturday morning at the break of dawn. As they approached the Whispering Woods, the towering trees seemed to whisper secrets of old, their leaves rustling gently in the wind. "This is it, our grand adventure," declared Jake excitedly, squinting at the map. The forest was nothing short of magical. Sunlight danced through the treetops, casting playful shadows on the mossy floor. Dew-kissed flowers blossomed in hues they'd never seen before, and the air hummed with the sound of chirping birds and rustling leaves. As they ventured deeper, they discovered a sparkling stream winding its way through the forest. After hours of exploring, they stumbled upon a circle of ancient stones. At its center stood a majestic oak tree wrapped in vines of shimmering silver. Just as Jake reached out to touch the tree, a soft, melodic voice whispered from the canopy, "Welcome, brave ones. This is the heart of the forest." Startled but intrigued, Lily and Jake looked up, searching for the source. A glowing figure emerged from the branches, a forest sprite with wings glistening like dewdrops. "I'm Alara," she greeted with a warm smile. "Few are chosen by the woods. It seems your hearts are pure, and your spirits adventurous." The teenagers, still in awe, exchanged glances and grinned. Alara guided them to a hidden path where magical beasts roamed, gentle unicorns grazing, luminous fireflies dancing, and wise old owls sharing riddles. Lily and Jake were enchanted, their hearts soaring with joy and discovery. As the sky began to blush with the whispers of dusk, Alara told them it was time to return. "Remember, young ones, the woods will always welcome true adventurers," she said, handing them a small, glowing acorn as a token of their journey. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived 3 wise men known as the Magi. Their names were Melchior, Balthazar, and Gaspar. They were renowned for their wisdom, kindness, and generosity. Each year, the three traveled great distances on camelback, following the guidance of a bright, twinkling star that led them to children in need of joy and hope. Their mission was to deliver gifts to kids all over the land, especially to those who were less fortunate. One year, as they prepared for their journey, a new helper joined them. His name was Zara, a young apprentice with twinkling eyes and a heart full of wonder. Zara was eager to learn the ways of the wise men and help spread happiness. On the first night of the journey, Zara was entrusted with holding the star map, a magical map that glowed with a silver light and showed the path they needed to follow. As the serene night enveloped them, the group passed through bustling cities, quiet villages, and vast deserts. Along their way, Zara discovered many mysteries and wonders of the world. He watched as Melchior, with his long white beard, spoke to the wind to calm a raging sandstorm, and how Balthazar, tall and broad, helped a family fix their wagon. Gaspar, always jolly and smiling, played his flute, filling the air with melodies that made everyone dance with joy. Their journey took them to a small village, nestled between high mountains. Here, they met a group of children who had never experienced the magic of the Magi. Despite their meager surroundings, the children greeted them with eyes wide open and smiles as bright as the morning sun. The wise men gathered the children in a circle and shared stories from their travels, tales of lands far and strange creatures. Then, Gaspar brought out a huge sack, from which he pulled a variety of gifts, colorful toys, books full of wonders, and warm clothes knit from the finest wool. Balthazar distributed sweet treats wrapped in golden paper, while Melchior gently placed a star-shaped charm around each child's neck as a symbol of hope and dreams. As the sun began to rise, illuminating the snow-capped peaks, Zara learned a valuable lesson. He realized that the true gift of the Magi was not the presents they delivered, but the light of hope and happiness they shared with every child they met. With hearts full of cheer and magic, Zara and the wise men bid farewell to the village. Children waved and sang, holding on to their gifts and dreams. The Magi continued their journey, the silver star glowing brighter than ever in the morning sky, guiding them onwards to spread more joy and wonder. And so, the tradition of the 3 wise men and their faithful apprentice continued, bringing joy and magic to children everywhere, reminding everyone that the true spirit of giving is love from the heart. Deep in the heart of the vast, green jungle where sunlight danced through the leaves, lived a wise old elephant named Alara. She was the undisputed guardian of the jungle, and her heart was as big and loving as the land she roamed. Her tusks were long and mighty, though she never used them in anger, and her eyes were kind and full of understanding. One sunny morning, while Alara was peacefully sipping water from the glistening river, she noticed a little creature floundering near the bank. It was a tiny monkey named Mango, who had accidentally slipped from a towering tree while trying to pluck the juiciest mango. Alara, with her gentle trunk, scooped Mango up and placed him gently on the ground. Mango shook himself off and looked up at Alara with wide, grateful eyes. "Thank you, Grandma Lara. I'm forever in your debt," chirped the excitable young monkey. From that day on, Mango stuck by Alara's side, always eager to learn from her vast wisdom. Alara taught Mango about the jungle, its secrets, and its songs. Together, the two friends roamed from the dense thickets to the babbling brooks, listening to the melodic calls of the birds and the whispering winds. But one day, something strange occurred. The jungle seemed quieter, as if holding its breath. Curious and concerned, Alara decided to investigate with Mango perched on her back. They discovered that the beautiful waterfall that nourished the jungle was slowly drying up. Without water, the plants would wither, and the creatures would despair. Mango looked to Alara with worry. Alara, with wisdom etched into the creases of her skin, calmed the little monkey. "Do not fear, Mango. Love and care can restore what seems lost. We just need to find the heart of the mountain where the waterfall begins." Together, they journeyed to the heart of the mountain. The mountain was majestic, covered with emerald vines and splashes of color from blooming flowers. After a long trek, Alara and Mango reached a glowing cave at the mountain's core. Inside the cave, they found a magical stone glimmering with life.
It was the heart of the mountain.
Without hesitation, Alara gathered her deepest, heartfelt thoughts of love for the jungle and transferred them into the stone with a gentle touch of her trunk. A sudden surge of energy spread through the cave as the stone began to pulse with vibrant color. Mango watched in awe as the heartbeat of the mountain sang like the jungle's sweetest melodies. As they left the cave, the ground shivered under their feet. From the mountain's peak, the waterfall began to flow again, more vibrant than ever. Life returned to the jungle, and the air was filled with joyous chirps and rustling leaves. Mango leapt with joy and hugged Alara's trunk, his heart full of warmth and gratitude. "You did it, Alara. You saved the jungle." Alara smiled, her wise eyes twinkling with love. "It was not just me, Mango. It was the love for our home, shared between us all, that brought the jungle back to life." From that day on, Alara and Mango lived in a bountiful jungle where love flowed as freely as the river, and the heart of the jungle beat on, strong and true. Deep in the heart of a vast jungle, a peculiar event was unfolding. Word had spread across the thickets and meadows, and every creature, from the vibrant parrots to the majestic elephants, was abuzz with excitement. Old Rafiki, the wise old turtle, had just declared the end of King Leo's reign, the once mighty lion who had ruled the jungle for many, many years. It was time to choose a new king. All the young and strong animals gathered in the grand clearing, eager to show their worthiness as the new monarch. There was Timmy, the enthusiastic young tiger, with his bright stripes and playful demeanor. Then there was Benny, the big-bodied bear, grumbling and mumbling as he prepared to show his great strength. And don't forget about Ginny, the clever giraffe, who had knowledge that soared as high as her long neck would reach. However, it was a rather unexpected candidate who caught everyone's attention. Oliver, the small and seemingly timid meerkat, confidently announced his candidacy. Giggles swept through the crowd. How could such a tiny creature dare to dream of such greatness? The trial to prove who would become the jungle's new ruler consisted of 3 challenges: strength, courage, and wisdom. In the first challenge, Timmy and Benny fiercely competed with their brawn, lifting mighty stones and breaking thick branches. It seemed that small Oliver was surely outmatched. However, he had been clever. He used physics to his advantage, creating a lever from twigs and a strong rock to move the heaviest log, surprising everyone. The second trial required courage. Each candidate was to venture into the ominous cave where the shadows of fear dwelled. Benny, with his imposing frame, hesitated as he faced the dark entrance. Meanwhile, Timmy dashed in, only to retreat after encountering eerie echoes. Oliver, though shivering, entered quietly. Inside, he faced his reflections and fears, but remembered tales told by his elders. Overcoming his fear not with defiance, but with understanding, he emerged victorious and calm. Finally came the test of wisdom. Ginny the giraffe was expected to triumph, for everyone knew of her astuteness and memory. The creatures were posed a riddle by Rafiki. What is as light as a feather, yet held with the greatest of care? Time ticked by, as each candidate pondered. It was Oliver, with a twinkle in his eye, who finally responded with the answer. A promise. The jungle erupted into cheers. Oliver, though small in stature, had shown that the true essence of leadership lay not in size or fearsome strength, but in a combination of intelligence, bravery, and integrity. As the new king, his first decree was to create an open forum for all creatures, where even the smallest voices could be heard. And so it was, in a vibrant jungle where stories were whispered by the wind and sung by the streams, that a tiny meerkat rose to become the most beloved king, teaching everyone that greatness can emerge from the most unexpected places. Deep in the heart of the vast, green jungle where sunlight danced through the leaves, lived a wise old elephant named Alara. She was the undisputed guardian of the jungle, and her heart was as big and loving as the land she roamed. Her tusks were long and mighty, though she never used them in anger, and her eyes were kind and full of understanding. One sunny morning, while Alara was peacefully sipping water from the glistening river, she noticed a little creature floundering near the bank. It was a tiny monkey named Mango, who had accidentally slipped from a towering tree while trying to pluck the juiciest mango. Alara, with her gentle trunk, scooped Mango up and placed him gently on the ground. Mango shook himself off and looked up at Alara with wide, grateful eyes. "Thank you, Grandma Alara. I'm forever in your debt," chirped the excitable young monkey. From that day on, Mango stuck by Alara's side, always eager to learn from her vast wisdom. Alara taught Mango about the jungle, its secrets, and its songs. Together, the two friends roamed from the dense thickets to the babbling brooks, listening to the melodic calls of the birds and the whispering winds. But one day, something strange occurred. The jungle seemed quieter, as if holding its breath. Curious and concerned, Alara decided to investigate with Mango perched on her back. They discovered that the beautiful waterfall that nourished the jungle was slowly drying up. Without water, the plants would wither, and the creatures would despair. Mango looked to Alara with worry. Alara, with wisdom etched into the creases of her skin, calmed the little monkey. "Do not fear, Mango. Love and care can restore what seems lost. We just need to find the heart of the mountain where the waterfall begins." Together, they journeyed to the heart of the mountain. The mountain was majestic, covered with emerald vines and splashes of color from blooming flowers. After a long trek, Alara and Mango reached a glowing cave at the mountain's core. Inside the cave, they found a magical stone glimmering with life.
It was the heart of the mountain.
Without hesitation, Alara gathered her deepest, heartfelt thoughts of love for the jungle and transferred them into the stone with a gentle touch of her trunk. A sudden surge of energy spread through the cave as the stone began to pulse with vibrant color. Mango watched in awe as the heartbeat of the mountain sang like the jungle's sweetest melodies. As they left the cave, the ground shivered under their feet. From the mountain's peak, the waterfall began to flow again, more vibrant than ever. Life returned to the jungle, and the air was filled with joyous chirps and rustling leaves. Mango leapt with joy and hugged Alara's trunk, his heart full of warmth and gratitude. "You did it, Alara. You saved the jungle." Alara smiled, her wise eyes twinkling with love. "It was not just me, Mango. It was the love for our home, shared between us all, that brought the jungle back to life." From that day on, Alara and Mango lived in a bountiful jungle where love flowed as freely as the river, and the heart of the jungle beat on, strong and true. Once upon a time, in a snowy village nestled at the foot of a great mountain, lived a little robin named Rob. Rob had a tuft of bright red feathers on his chest and a curious glint in his tiny eyes. Unlike other robins, Rob was extra curious about the humans who lived in the village. To him, the way they celebrated Christmas every winter was a fascinating mystery. Rob had heard tales from older birds about twinkling lights, songs that made humans come together, and a peculiar red-suited man who brought joy to every home. However, Rob had never ventured into the village during Christmas to see these wonders for himself. One chilly December morning, just as the first snowflakes began to fall, Rob decided it was time to solve the mystery of Christmas. With a flutter of his small wings, he set off towards the village, following the sound of jingling bells. As he neared the village, Rob saw a dazzling sight. Trees were adorned with sparkling lights, wreaths hung on doors, and people carried packages. Rob perched on a frosty branch, watching children build a big snowman wearing a scarf and a hat. Nearby, a group of carolers sang a harmonious tune, filling the air with joy and warmth. Intrigued, Rob hopped closer to see a family decorating a tree. He peered through the window and watched as they hung shiny ornaments and topped the tree with a glittering star. Everyone seemed so happy, and Rob felt a flicker of joy in his little heart. Suddenly, Rob heard the sound of sleigh bells ringing. He looked up to see a reindeer pulling a sleigh through the moonlit sky. To his amazement, the sleigh was being driven by none other than Santa Claus himself. Rob could hardly believe his eyes and chirped excitedly. Santa noticed Rob and gave him a warm smile and a wink. As if understanding Rob's curiosity and wonder, Santa guided his sleigh down to the village square. There, he filled the air with his merry laughter as he handed out gifts to the gathered crowd. Feeling brave, Rob flew down to perch on the edge of the sleigh. Santa turned to him and said, "Why, hello there, little friend. It seems you've discovered what Christmas is all about. It's not just the lights or the gifts, but the love and happiness it brings." Rob chirped in agreement, his heart swelling with newfound warmth as he realized the joy of Christmas was not just for humans, but for all creatures big and small. From that day on, Rob never missed a Christmas. He was always eager to soak in the joy and love that filled the village and to share his newfound understanding with all his woodland friends. And so, the little robin with the curious heart became a cherished part of the village's Christmas. Rob became a symbol of the wonder and love that the season brings to all creatures. In a land known for its enchanting snowflakes and dreamy winter landscapes, there was a little village called Gingerbread Heights, where our story begins. In this quaint village lived a clever young girl named Clara. Clara loved nothing more than the magic of Christmas and the charm that came with the holiday season. One chilly afternoon, while exploring her grandfather's dusty attic, Clara stumbled across a gleaming, ancient nutcracker. Its surface was painted with bright colors and embellished with tiny jeweled eyes that seemed to twinkle. Clara, curious and imaginative, took the nutcracker downstairs to her family, who were gathered around the roaring fireplace. As the clock struck midnight, Clara couldn't resist playing with her newfound friend. Under the sparkling Christmas tree, with lights twinkling like a galaxy of stars, Clara turned the nutcracker's handle. To her astonishment, it sprang to life. Its wooden features animated, it hopped onto the floor and introduced itself as Captain Nutcracker, guardian of the land of Sweetsdale. Captain Nutcracker explained how a dastardly rat king had captured the Sugar Plum Fairy and threatened to drain all joy from Sweetsdale, a vibrant kingdom filled with the most delicious and delightful treats one could imagine. With bravery and wonder in her heart, Clara agreed to help the Nutcracker save Sweetsdale. Together, Clara and Captain Nutcracker embarked on their journey to Sweetsdale. Along the way, they met an array of whimsical friends: Ginger Snaps, a gingerbread soldier with a peppermint hat; Coco, a talking marshmallow unicorn; and Twink, a sparkling candy fairy who lit their path through the dark forest of jelly beans. Their adventure was filled with excitement and surprise encounters with giggling gummy bears and a wise old licorice owl who offered secret advice. The brave team finally arrived at the Rat King's lair, a looming castle made entirely of moldy cheese. As they prepared for the final showdown, Clara used her quick thinking and the Nutcracker's strategic direction to outsmart the Rat King. She tossed a garland of magical snowflakes into the air, causing the Rat King to slip and stumble onto a huge, soft marshmallow. This allowed Captain Nutcracker to trap him in a candy cane jail. With the Rat King defeated, the Sugar Plum Fairy was freed, and she bloomed like the lovely guardian of sweets she was. Grateful for Clara and Captain Nutcracker's bravery, she threw a magnificent celebration filled with dances, songs, and sugary delights. Clara had never felt such joy and camaraderie as she did with her new friends, but it was time to return home. Captain Nutcracker thanked Clara with a heartfelt promise that Sweetsdale would always welcome her. As dawn broke over Gingerbread Heights, Clara awoke back in her grandfather's cozy attic, clutching the wooden nutcracker tightly. For a moment, she wondered if it had all been a dream. Once upon a time, in a lush, green rainforest lived a curious capybara named Cappy. Cappy was different from other capybaras. While his friends loved to bask in the sun and munch on veggies by the river, Cappy longed for adventure. One day, while wandering near the edge of the forest, Cappy discovered something unusual. Hidden behind a curtain of vines lay the entrance to a mysterious labyrinth. "I must explore it," Cappy exclaimed, his heart pounding with excitement. Before he could hesitate, he squeezed through the narrow entrance and ventured inside. The labyrinth was unlike anything Cappy had ever seen. The walls were tall, covered with creeping vines, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. Sounds of rustling leaves and distant birds' songs echoed around him. As Cappy waddled deeper into the maze, he encountered the first challenge, a rickety wooden bridge over a glistening stream. Cappy hesitated for a moment, weighing his options, then took a deep breath and gingerly stepped onto the bridge. It wobbled precariously, but Cappy's determination kept him moving forward. Finally, he reached the other side, his heart racing with adrenaline. The next part of the labyrinth was a series of twisting, narrow paths. Cappy looked left, then right, deciding which way to go. Remembering stories from his grandmother about trusting one's instincts, he closed his eyes, took a sniff of the air, and decided to go left. Luck was on his side, and soon he found himself in a small clearing. In the middle of the clearing stood a wise old owl perched atop a wooden signpost. "Welcome, brave capybara," hooted the owl. "If you wish to proceed, answer this riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Cappy scratched his head, pondering the riddle. He focused hard, remembering evenings spent listening to the jungle's natural symphony, the rustling leaves, the howling wind. Suddenly it hit him. "An echo!" he exclaimed confidently. The owl nodded approvingly, and the path behind him opened, revealing the next section of the labyrinth. "Proceed," the owl hooted, "and may fortune guide your path." With renewed vigor, Cappy continued his journey. Each twist and turn brought new wonders. He saw a garden full of the brightest butterflies he had ever seen, gliding gracefully through the air. He even encountered a family of playful monkeys swinging from branch to branch. The monkeys laughed as they showed Cappy a shortcut through the dense foliage. After what felt like hours, Cappy finally reached the heart of the labyrinth. There lay a sparkling fountain surrounded by ancient stone sculptures. In the very center of the fountain was a dazzling stone that shimmered in the sunlight. Cappy felt a sense of fulfillment as he gazed at the beauty he had discovered. Deciding it was time to return, Cappy retraced his steps through the labyrinth. His heart was full of stories waiting to be told, and his spirit brimmed with pride for the adventure he'd dared to take. From that day on, Cappy was known as the bravest explorer among all capybaras. He often shared tales of the labyrinth and its magic with his friends. And so, Cappy's life was never the same. Adventure awaited around every corner, and he knew he would always follow his heart, no matter where it might lead. Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there lived a sly and cunning fox named Zorro and a clever but curious rabbit named Bunbun. Zorro was known for his bright orange fur and sharp eyes, always planning his next clever trick. Bunbun, on the other hand, was loved by all for his gentle nature and keen sense for finding the most delicious carrots in the forest. One sunny morning, Bunbun hopped along the forest paths, his little nose twitching as he sniffed the fresh air. He stumbled upon a patch of juicy, bright orange carrots that seemed to glow in the sunlight. His eyes widened with excitement as he imagined a delicious carrot feast.
Wow.
"These carrots look amazing!" exclaimed Bunbun. However, what Bunbun didn't realize was that Zorro had been watching from behind a bush, his eyes twinkling with mischief. Zorro slipped out of his hiding spot and approached Bunbun. "Good day, dear Bunbun. I see you've found my special carrot patch," Zorro said with a sly grin. Bunbun blinked, surprised. "Oh, I'm sorry, Zorro. I didn't know these carrots were yours," he responded with sincere innocence. Zorro chuckled softly. "No worries, my friend. How about a little game to decide if you can have them?" Zorro proposed. Bunbun, always up for fun, nodded eagerly. "What kind of game, Zorro?" With a glint in his eye, Zorro suggested, "Let's have a race. Whoever gets to the big oak tree first wins the whole carrot patch." Bunbun twitched his ears, thinking it over. He knew Zorro was faster, but Bunbun had an idea. He agreed to the race, certain he could outsmart the clever fox. When the race started, Zorro shot off like a rocket down the path, confident he would win. But Bunbun decided to take a shortcut he knew through the tall grasses, a path he had created and used often with his other rabbit friends. As Zorro dashed around curves and leapt over rocks, Bunbun scurried swiftly through the grass. Stopping only to catch his breath under a shady tree, he was so nimble and quick through a secret path that when he emerged, he was surprisingly close to the old oak tree. Finally, with a burst of speed, Bunbun bounced ahead of the unsuspecting Zorro. Bunbun reached the big oak first. "I won! I won!" chirped Bunbun, hopping in excitement. Zorro arrived moments later, panting and a bit bewildered by Bunbun's win. However, he respected Bunbun's cleverness and laughed heartily. "Well done, Bunbun," Zorro congratulated, still slightly out of breath. "You certainly earned those carrots with your wonderful shortcut." The two new friends sat together under the big oak tree, where Bunbun shared his prize with Zorro. From that day on, Zorro and Bunbun delighted in each other's company, often playing games in the forest. Their friendship bloomed, teaching them both that sometimes cleverness and kindness can make the best of friends. And so, in their enchanting forest, Zorro the fox and Bunbun the rabbit remained the best of companions, sharing all the wonder and magic of their world. In the tranquil village of Willowbrook, nestled between towering mountains and a sparkling river, lived two inseparable friends, Lily and Jasper. Both were curious 13-year-olds, always on the lookout for adventures. Every vacation, they would explore the rolling hills, hidden caves, and bubbling streams around their village. But there was one place they were forbidden to go, the enchanted forest. Legends swirled around the enchanted forest, a mysterious stretch of towering trees and whispering winds, where magical creatures and ancient secrets lived. Villagers would often share tales of shimmering fairies and mischievous goblins, warning the children to stay away. Yet for Lily and Jasper, these tales only fueled their curiosity. One bright sunny morning, as the sky lightened with the hues of dawn, Lily and Jasper secretly hatched a plan. "Let's explore the enchanted forest," Lily whispered excitedly. Jasper's eyes twinkled with mischief. "We've explored everywhere but there, and today seems like the perfect day." So, armed with their backpacks filled with snacks, water, and a compass, they set off on their secret journey. The path to the enchanted forest was full of singing birds and colorful flowers. As they entered the forest, the air shifted. It was cooler and filled with the sweet scent of pine and blooming wildflowers. Rays of sunlight streamed through the canopy, casting magical patterns on the forest floor. As they ventured deeper, they encountered strange and wondrous sights. A family of foxes, with shimmering silver fur, played by a crystal-clear stream. High above, branches seemed to whisper secrets, and an array of colorful butterflies sculpted a kaleidoscope in the soft air. Suddenly, they heard a soft giggle and rustling leaves. "Did you hear that?" Jasper whispered. Lily nodded, her heart racing with excitement. Following the sound, they stumbled upon a small clearing. In its center stood a grand tree, more magnificent than any they had seen. Upon closer inspection, they noticed tiny doors and windows carved meticulously into its bark. Jasper, curious as ever, gently knocked on one of the doors. To their amazement, it swung open, and a tiny fairy emerged. Her wings glimmered like diamonds in the sun. "Welcome, brave explorers," she chimed, her voice like tinkling bells. "I am Alara, the guardian of the enchanted forest." Lily and Jasper were spellbound. Alara fluttered her wings, creating a soft glow that enveloped the clearing. "You've shown great courage and kindness," she continued. "For that, I shall grant you a special gift, a glimpse into the realm of magic that few humans get to see." With a gentle wave of her wand, the forest transformed. They saw goblins dancing around a campfire, unicorns lying beside peaceful ponds, and fireflies weaving sparkles in the air. It felt like a beautiful dream. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, a lush, vibrant jungle teemed with life. There beneath the towering purple peaks of Mount Roarsome lived the dinosaurs, each with its unique and colorful coat. There were the gentle, long-necked brachios who munched on the treetops, the spiky stegos, who enjoyed the cool shade, and the tiny, nimble comps who zipped through the undergrowth. The most curious of them all was Dino D, a young and adventurous T-Rex who was always exploring beyond his familiar forest. Unlike his larger-than-life relatives, D was small for his age, but he had a big heart full of dreams. He longed to see the world beyond the craggy hills and dense jungles. One bright, sparkling morning, as the golden rays of the sun filtered through the emerald leaves, Dee decided to set out on a journey across Dino Valley, the largest valley in all Roarsomeland. Packed with a bundle of tasty fern sandwiches and a courage bigger than the biggest dinosaur, he waved goodbye to his friends. "I will bring back stories as tall as the clouds," he promised. He began his adventure with a spring in his step, humming Dino tunes. Along the way, Dee met many Dino friends. There was Aura, the wise Triceratops who taught Dee about the secret language of the trees. "If you listen closely," whispered Aura, "the leaves will tell you stories of the wind." Further down the path, Dee splashed through the giggling stream river where Benny, the bubbly elasmosaur, played. "Splash with me," called Benny, his eyes twinkling like the river. The day wore on, and the sun started dipping below the horizon. Dee felt a hint of nervousness, mixed with excitement, as he approached the Cavern of Whispers, a place his fellow dinos spoke of only in hushes. But Dee, with his daring spirit and shining determination, stepped into the cavern. The walls whispered stories of old, tales of great adventures and ancient dino dances beneath the moon. Inside, Dee found a sparkling crystal so big it glowed the cavern with a gentle light. "Take me with you," it seemed to say, "and I will guide your way." Dee, trusting his heart, gently scooped the glowing crystal and headed back home. As he trekked back through the jungle, the crystal lit his path, and Dee felt a warmth in his heart. He realized that bravery wasn't about being the biggest or the fiercest. Bravery meant being himself and following his dreams. When Dee returned home, all the dinosaurs gathered around, eager to hear his tales. As night fell and the stars blinked awake, Dee shared stories of his adventure by the fire, his eyes as bright as the crystal he brought back. From that night on, young Dinos would gather around Dee, a little T-Rex with giant dreams, who showed them the magic of exploring the unknown and being true to oneself. So, my little ones, if ever you doubt your size or strength, just remember Dee and the glowing crystal. Within all of you is a beacon that shines bright when you follow your heart. And with that, the Dinos of Rorsamland settled down for a cozy night, dreaming big dreams of adventure and discovery.
The end.
Once upon a time in the lush and vibrant savannah, there was a majestic lion named Leo. He had a golden mane that shone like the sun, and he ruled over the animal kingdom with wisdom and grace. Leo was kind, brave, and always fair to everyone, but there was one thing that annoyed him more than anything else in the world, and that was the mischievous clan of hyenas that lived nearby. The hyenas, with their giggling and cheeky grins, loved nothing more than to cause a bit of trouble. They would sneak up on Leo while he was resting, playing noisy pranks that would echo across the plains. Out of all the hyenas, there were three that were particularly pesky: Hazel, Hugo, and Holly. Hazel was the leader, always planning the pranks with a twinkle in her eye. Hugo was the smartest, coming up with the most elaborate schemes. And then there was Holly, whose laughter was so loud that even the birds in the trees would pause to listen. Despite their antics, Leo never got truly angry with them. He saw the hyenas as a challenge and an odd sort of company, even if they were cheeky. But one day, the hyenas took their pranks too far. As Leo was about to take a big bite of his delicious dinner, a juicy gazelle, he found it missing. The aroma was there, teasing his nostrils, but his meal had vanished. Leo knew exactly who was behind this trick. The hyenas had secretly stolen his dinner as part of their newest prank. Leo decided it was time to teach them a lesson. He roared with all his might, his voice echoing throughout the plains. "Hazel, Hugo, Holly, come out and return what you've taken." His voice was strong, yet there was a hint of amusement in it. The hyenas, hearing Leo's call, appeared before him, trying to stifle their laughter. But when they saw Leo's playful yet determined look, they gulped. "We just wanted to have a bit of fun, Leo," Hazel admitted with a sheepish grin. "We didn't mean any harm." Hugo nodded in agreement, while Holly tried to stop giggling. Leo looked at them and said, "Fun is nice, but not at the expense of others, especially when it comes to dinner. How about this? I challenge you to a race tomorrow. If you can beat me, you can steal my dinner anytime, but if I win, you'll leave my meals alone." The hyenas, always up for a challenge, agreed excitedly. Leo knew he had a plan that would teach them about respect. The next day, as the animals gathered to watch, the race was on. Leo, with his powerful legs and dignified pace, raced against the swift yet clumsy hyenas. Just as the hyenas were about to take the lead, Leo let out a playful roar. "Remember, fair play, everyone." This gentle reminder encouraged them to run with honor. In the end, Leo crossed the finish line first, but by just a nose. The hyenas, huffing and puffing, realized the value of fair play and promised Leo they would never take his dinner again. From that day on, the hyenas and Leo shared a friendly bond. They would tell jokes and enjoy the savannah together, always respecting each other's space and meals. And whenever Hazel, Hugo, and Holly felt the urge to play a prank, they remembered their little race and smiled, joining Leo for a friendly game instead. Once upon a time, in the heart of the mystic woods, there flowed a crystal-clear stream known as the Shimmering River. It was named so because when the sun's rays danced upon its surface, it sparkled like thousands of tiny diamonds. The river was home to many creatures, from the playful otters to the wise old turtle named Humphrey. One bright morning, a new visitor arrived at the river. It was a little raccoon named Daisy, with bright eyes full of curiosity and a longing for adventure. Daisy had heard tales of a magical island in the middle of the Shimmering River, where the legendary golden fish lived. It was said that anyone who met this mystical creature could have a wish granted. Daisy was determined to find the island and meet the golden fish. She approached Humphrey the turtle, who was sunbathing on a smooth rock near the riverbank. "Excuse me, Humphrey," Daisy called politely. "Do you know how I can find the magic island?" Humphrey opened his wise, gentle eyes and chuckled heartily. Young one," he said, "the journey to the magic island is not an easy one. It requires courage and a good heart." Daisy felt a flutter of determination. "I have courage," she insisted, "and I'm ready for an adventure." Hearing Daisy's resolve, Humphrey decided to help the enthusiastic raccoon. He explained that to find the island, Daisy must first swim across the Rainbow Rapids, climb the Whispering Willow, and follow the path of the Singing Stones. Only then would she reach the serene grove where the island awaits. Thanking Humphrey, Daisy set off on her adventure. She paddled through the Rainbow Rapids, the water splashing all around her and creating colorful arcs in the air. It was a challenge, but Daisy was nimble and brave. Next, she climbed the Whispering Willow, which rustled encouragement as its branches gently swayed, whispering secrets only the forest knew. Finally, Daisy found herself at the start of the path of the Singing Stones. These stones were magical and hummed a tune that guided travelers. Daisy hummed along, letting the melody lift her spirits as she hopped from stone to stone. At last, she reached the peaceful grove where the magic island lay. There, shimmering in the soft light of the afternoon, was the golden fish itself. It greeted Daisy warmly and listened to her tale of adventure and perseverance. Impressed by her bravery and good heart, the golden fish offered Daisy her wish. Daisy thought for a moment, then wished for the happiness of all the creatures along the river. With a flip of its tail, the golden fish granted her wish, and from that day on, the shimmering river was even more vibrant and full of life. Daisy returned to her friends, her heart full of joy. The woodland creatures celebrated her return, for now, their home was more magical than ever. And so, the legend of Daisy's great adventure would be told time and time again, reminding everyone that with courage and kindness, any journey could lead to wondrous places. Once upon a time, there was a cheerful family who lived in a busy city. This family consisted of Mom, Dad, and their two children, Lily and Jake. They had a pet dog named Buster, who was full of energy and loved to run around. One day, Mom and Dad decided that the family needed a little getaway from the city's hustle and bustle. So, they planned a trip to their grandparents' farm, which was nestled in the quiet, green countryside. Lily and Jake were thrilled about the trip. They couldn't wait to explore the vast fields and meet all the animals. The farm was miles away, so the family packed their bags, filled the car with goodies, and embarked on their adventure early in the morning. As they drove away from the tall buildings and city noise, they began to see open spaces, green landscapes, and finally, the beautiful rows of crops that stretched as far as the eye could see. "Look, there are cows," Lily exclaimed as they passed a field full of grazing animals. When they arrived at the farm, Grandma and Grandpa were already waiting with big smiles and warm hugs. Buster, the dog, barked happily and dashed through the fields, chasing butterflies. The first evening, Grandpa took them on a tour of the farm. They saw chickens clucking and pecking at the ground, sheep nibbling the grass, and even some pigs rolling in the mud. Lily and Jake were fascinated. Grandma showed them how to milk a cow, and they both laughed as a curious calf nudged them with its soft nose. Over the next few days, the family enjoyed farm life to the fullest. They helped Grandma and Grandpa with small chores, gathered eggs from the chicken coop, and picked fresh vegetables from the garden. Lily and Jake even learned how to ride a horse. Every day was an adventure filled with laughter, fresh air, and sweet memories. At night, they would gather by the cozy fireplace, listening to Grandpa's stories about the old days on the farm. On the last day, the family packed up their car and said goodbye to Grandma and Grandpa, promising to return during the next school holidays. As they drove back towards the city, Lily and Jake talked excitedly about all they had learned and experienced. They realized how wonderful it was to take a break and enjoy the simple pleasures of life on the farm. When they finally reached home, they brought with them not just bags full of fresh farm produce, but also hearts full of cherished memories of their family adventure to the farm. Once upon a time, in a sunny meadow surrounded by tall trees and blooming flowers, there lived 3 little piglets. Their names were Peter, Penny, and Percy. Peter was the oldest and quite practical in nature. Penny was the middle child, known for her love of art and beauty, while Percy was the youngest, with a keen sense of adventure, but rather lazy. Their mother advised them to build their own houses to protect themselves from the big bad wolf that roamed the forest. "Remember, my dear piglets," she said, "you must build strong houses to keep the wolf away." Peter, being practical, decided to build his house with bricks. He worked day and night, laying each brick carefully, making sure his house would withstand anything. Penny, on the other hand, wanted a house as beautiful as a painting. She decided to build hers with wood. She carved charming patterns into the walls and adorned them with colorful flowers. Percy, caring more about playing than building, quickly threw together a house made of straw, thinking it would be quick and easy. One fine day, the wolf came prowling through the meadow with his nose high in the air, sniffing the scent of the little pigs. Eager for a feast, he approached the straw house. Little pig, let me come in," he huffed. Perched comfortably inside, Percy replied, "Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin." This annoyed the wolf greatly. "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in." With a great breath, the wolf blew down Percy's straw house like leaves in the wind. Poor Percy squealed and ran to Penny's wooden house for safety. The wolf, ever hungry, followed Percy to the wooden house. Little pigs, let me come in," he growled. Penny and Percy giggled from inside. "Not by the hair on our chinny chin chins." The wolf took a deep breath and blew, with all his might. The wooden house shook and creaked before collapsing, leaving the 2 pigs to run hastily to Peter's sturdy brick house. Finally, the wolf came to Peter's house and shouted, little pigs, let me come in." Peter, along with Penny and Percy, called back, "Not by the hair on our chinny chin chins." The wolf huffed and puffed again. But no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't budge even one brick of Peter's strong, well-built house. Frustrated and tired, the wolf came up with a sneaky plan. He climbed onto the roof, intending to enter through the chimney. However, the clever Peter had a warm fire going in the fireplace, so when the wolf tried to sneak down, he landed with a loud ouch right onto the hot embers. With his tail on fire, the wolf yelped and dashed out of the house, never to bother the 3 piglets again. From that day forward, Peter, Penny, and Percy lived happily in their brick house, knowing that hard work, creativity, and cleverness had kept them safe from harm. And whenever the story of the 3 little piglets was told, everyone learned the importance of building things with care and considering what truly keeps us protected.